Hi, this is Jim Jordan, and today I'm with Create Vibrant Health, and today I'm doing a little video called My Political Transformation. And the reason I'm doing this is that I've gotten I'm getting, as I do social media posting and things, I'm getting a lot of interaction with people that are a bit like, what's going on with you? Why don't you, I don't know, I've had a lot of people criticize my positions as they've sort of unfolded in the last months. And I want to give those people really an understanding of where I'm coming from. So I feel that I do have some modest amount of influence with some people. And I've been in the healthcare field for many years. I was a lawyer before this, so I've thought things through very carefully. So I just want to give you a little background. So as a young man, I was pretty much a very progressive democratic socialist. I believed I was very opposed to the United States government and its interventions in other countries and supporting coups and things like that in our war policies from Vietnam on and all the way through Iraq and all that. So I would say that I was an anti-establishment liberal and was comfortable with that. I was not very much into capitalism either. I believe more in socialism and redistribution of wealth to the people. And gradually over the years, I started to get another perspective. And the perspective was this: I started to see things around the late 1990s a little differently as I did deeper investigation into sort of the mechanisms of power in the United States and the world for that matter, but the United States, in this case, my own country. So I came to see that there was not really a left and right distinction, or liberal conservative was not actually very accurate. There was basically those that, whatever political affiliation they had, that were very, very much in favor of the general policies that were held by both parties, which are that war was important to engage in for conquest, for resources and corporate interest and control, and the monetary system should be controlled by private banking cartel that we call the Federal Reserve, and people should be sort of kept fighting over smaller issues like gay rights or gun rights or things like that, but don't let them get to the economics and foreign policy things. So so throughout my life, I've been pretty aware that was in play, but it became very clear around 9/11 after I did my research and realized that, oh my God, our government could actually, at least elements of our government could actually be involved in an attack on its own people. And I know at this point, I see that I was naive. I didn't realize that, but now I see that. And I remember having conversations with friends of mine back in Chicago, and they thought, wow, that's convincing, but I can't believe our government would do this to its own people. And I said, well, we're not their people. It's not like there's a loyalty to the public. And so I think it's been a gradual process of maturing or growing up and realizing the sort of some dark side to humanity. We all have it. And that some of these darker elements have really entrenched themselves in the mechanisms of power and control in our government and society. That's just a fact. So that leads me, so through the early 2000s, I realized that many of you might be watching this must know that 9/11 was not really likely caused by Osama bin Laden or Saddam Hussein, and that those were just pretenses for a bigger agenda, which was, control the population, passing laws, rules, but mainly Patriot Act, things like that, where there can be more control over the population, and launching wars of basically control foreign countries to make sure that they are on the dollar and that our economic interests are protected. So that's basically my conclusion. I'm sure many people by now either understand that, or if they don't, then they have some more work to do. But yeah, if you're at that point with me, it's not that hard to see how the current events with COVID-19 and many other things are like, does this really make sense? So and of course I've been labeled things, a conspiracy theorist and things like that. And, that's okay. But the reality is that when you really look deeply and are willing to question things and study on your own some things, you'll see for yourself come to their own conclusions. So the same with COVID-19. Many people by now are getting that this is not it's not a serious disease. It's whatever it is. It's basically being used as a cover for other agendas being run. So politically, what's happened to me is I've started to see now that there is really a divide in that there's people that are being they're convinced that there's world problems that are so significant that we need a central authority and power, world government, to deal with these things like global warming and perhaps infectious diseases that are being released or somehow get out there. We need some global, universal approach that can deal with these problems for our safety and our security. So that's the argument being made for more concentration of power. And of course, in a representative government where the consent of the governed is a primary principle, concentration of power and centralization of power is anathema to really individuals having a say in the rules that govern them. So there's a divide there. So what I see now is I'm more aligned with people that are into smaller government, decentralization, more government that is responding to the will of the people and individual rights, more of the values that were reflected by the founders of the United States. And of course, as even in law school, we didn't really study that much. We really didn't study much. We didn't learn much of anything about fundamental principles of law, more case law and how procedural law, things like that. So I came to this on my own, through my own research, and I got, wow, maybe those principles, those solid principles of natural rights, federalism, which is, different levels of government having different responsibilities, decentralization, minority rights protected, property rights protected, maybe those foundational legal principles are what we need as a people to start to self-govern and actually deal with the problems we're facing. And more bureaucratic or administrative government with experts telling us what to do may not be the best thing. The reason I say that is that if the experts or bureaucrats or whether it's whatever government agency they're running were actually independent, actually, regardless of independent, it still comes down to whether the people consent. We have to decide something is correct. But the way it's being done now is we don't have a say in administrative laws or regulations. There's several steps removed from the people that we elect to represent us. So we really need, from my view, we need to realize that these experts, these administrative agencies are captured by industry, usually, whatever industries are supposed to regulate, they've been captured, and they're reflecting the interest of those industries above the interests of the people. Even with best intentions, many people, there's no escaping that. If you're going to be involved in these agencies, you're going to be, whether it's the CDC or the EPA or FTC or FCC, you're going to be influenced by the industry that you're regulating. They're the ones that sort of pay the congressmen, that give the donations, that the people that are your boss, the administrative agencies. So there's no escaping that. So what's happened to me, in my case, once having been a big government, let's get big, good government on our side, New Deal, Franklin Roosevelt type thing, Great Society, all this stuff, I started to think, maybe less power in government, more local, more natural rights based, more individual freedom, more questioning is appropriate. So, of course, the extreme of big government is communism or totalitarianism, where there's government and that's it. You get all your privileges. You have no rights. You have all privileges are given by the government. We've seen that the Soviet Union or Nazi Germany or communist China now, and there's no individual say in things. They don't like what you say, you're in prison. And that's where it's headed in the United States, which is shocking to see it creep up on us, sort of crept up over the years. And it's shockinger to see the public sort of complicit in that. And that's been my biggest concern. And a lot of the reasons I speak out, and perhaps I'm a little aggressive at times. I don't know, aggressive, but I'm trying to be very polite, obviously, to people and respectful of their views. But I'm very assertive in my position because I really care about the United States. I care about the world, but specifically my own country because I have some say. I care about my state of Oregon, and I care about our prosperity and happiness and health and well-being. So I'm driven by good intentions, as most people are. And but there's a lot of frustration because I'm coming up against a lot of people that are just questioning. They question a lot of times the integrity of the person who disagrees with them, and I don't think that's fair. I don't question their integrity. I know that everybody's doing the best they can with the information they have. So to start a civil dialogue, let's start by respecting each other, not calling each other conspiracy theorists or sheep or whatever. That's not going to work. I refrain from that as much as I can, and could do better perhaps. And I'm asking my friends and family members and everybody else to, just to realize, have respect for those who disagree with you and be open-minded. I'm open-minded. I hear things that people say and I can be wrong about many things. And also to clarify my current position, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a conservative. I'm not a liberal anymore. I'm not anything. I am just a guy trying to figure this out. I believe in individual rights and freedom and responsibility. So instead of labeling people a political label, I would say I'd like to really get to know what are your values. So I value freedom and responsibility. I value the freedom to choose my own healthcare that I use for myself, whether I wear a mask or not, whether I shut down my business or not, and I choose to be responsible for my actions. I choose for people, I believe people should be responsible for their actions. If they commit crimes, they should be prosecuted. Not excuse that, well, they did this because of, they're upset, they're angry. I mean, yeah, it's true, but there's no reason to commit a crime. Unless, of course, you decide to overthrow, the elected officials. That's a treason. That's what the founding fathers did. That was a crime, I'd say, but it was a revolution at that point. So if it gets that bad, then, freedom is a crime. I don't think we're there yet. I'm not certainly advocating that. And I think that the reason I'm aligning more with conservatives and Republicans at this point is because they seem to value responsibility, personal responsibility, and individual freedom more, at least at the moment, more than Democrats. That can change. If Democrats changed, I would be on their side. It would make no difference to me. I don't care a D or R. It makes no difference to me whatsoever. I'm registered independent. And I believe that's the majority of many more Americans are independent. I think we have to get beyond left and right and calling people leftist and right wing and all this nonsense. This is not helpful. So values are what counts. What do you value? And if you value your own security and safety above everything, that's great. You should take care of it. But that can't be at the expense of other people's freedom and their right to earn an income and to worship and to do what they think is correct for them. So this is a little video I made. I'm sending this out because I want to keep the people that I'm close to informed about what has led to my decisions, where I am. And I'm very skeptical of a lot of things I see that happen in the world. I don't necessarily believe the official narrative. I believe there's usually other things that are going on behind the scenes. And you can call me what you want, but I choose to see myself as a critical thinker in this regard, and I encourage people to question everything. Question what I say. Don't believe me, and you're free to vote for who you want. And I will never, ever, ever, based on who you vote for, insult you or threaten you or harm you or your property. And anybody who does that based on who somebody votes for is not a citizen, a full citizen. They're a criminal. So that's anybody who attacks someone based on who they are voting for or their political views, that's a crime. And there's no excuse for that. And for those that want to make excuses for that, then they're a problem. And those people are going to have to we'll have to address that. If they're elected officials, we'll have to remove them from office. So that's foundational. Respect, peace. Violence and self-defense, that's it. Someone attacks you, you have a right to defend yourself. Initiation, no. That's a violation of fundamental natural law. So natural law, let's talk about that sometime. So Jim Jordan, speaking to you from Oregon right now, at least. And my company is Create Vibrant Health. It's a health and wellness education company. And I'm doing talks sometimes on legal education too. And that was my previous career as a lawyer. And I would like to be in communication with more people, especially people who disagree with me, who are willing to have respectful conversations. So thank you very much and have a wonderful day.